Taz did a great job with it, but you got to hand it to Happy Heyman, the jovial Jew, my good old friend, also because he took Taz and made him the modern day equivalent would be Samoa Joe, just a guy that the hardcore wrestling fans thought this guy's going to fucking kill you. But Taz, I mean, he is a good athlete. And I'm sure he may have wrestled in high school or college, whatever. I don't know his athletic background, but it's not like he was an Olympic gold medalist. And he would be the first one to admit that. He's not going to stretch Kurt Angle in a shoot. But Heyman got people to believe that Taz was the toughest motherfucker on earth, and it worked until they did the WWF crossover, and because Taz is vertically challenged, and Lawler.
Yeah, built like a fire plug.
Well, yeah, but Lawler hated the whole ECW hardcore wrestling thing. And Lawler's like me; he's old fashioned, and also he never liked Paulie to begin with. He fired him and broke his jaw and all that stuff. But anyway, they do the crossover, and Lawler as color commentator. Here comes the toughest man in the world, the human submission machine or whatever, and Lawler says, "I got socks taller than him," and just buried him on Raw.
I gotta ask, and you don't have to answer this, but how does Jerry continue to do it? I mean, other than money, if he feels the way it seems he feels about wrestling, how does he continue?
No. Now here's the thing: Jerry doesn't take the business as seriously as I do. I'm not trying to say that, but he felt the same way about hardcore wrestling because that's just stupid to the fucking bone.
Yeah.
And, he called it extremely crappy wrestling. So that's the reason why Lawler and I made the one appearance in ECW, which was in a match involving Lawler where I came to help him. Lawler had more heat than any heel they had ever because even the smart fans knew that Lawler had a true dislike for Paul Heyman, for hardcore wrestling, for the stupid smart fans that like to see people actually hit each other and beat each other up with shit for real. And thought the whole thing was a bunch of fucking idiocy, which he probably disliked ECW more than I did because I did see the good things that Paul was doing and the fact that he was getting some guys over who could never get over anywhere else or under any other booker, et cetera, et cetera. So Lawler could go in there and tell the truth on his promos, and the people, it was like the Combat Zone Wrestling Ring of Honor feud that we did back in 2010. When I said, "Hey, Necro Butcher, I see you got off your day job as a jizz mopper at the porno store to come over here," they knew that I was telling the truth, that I thought that the fans of hardcore wrestling, the hardcore wrestlers, and the hardcore wrestling promotion was the equivalent of sticking a handful of raw sewage under my fucking nose. And so I got heat with them. And the Ring of Honor fans loved it because they fucking felt they were better than the Combat Zone fans, and et cetera, et cetera. So, but Jerry Lawler, that's why I couldn't believe he had a heart attack. That's what scared me into going on a diet, because Jerry Lawler, the most unstressed, carefree person, the Teflon King, nothing ever sticks to him. Water off a duck's back. If you came in the locker room and they were playing cards and you said, "King, the building's on fire," he'd be like, "Well, guess this will be the last hand." Nothing ever upsets him.
Well, it sounded like he had a pretty bad diet, although he wasn't heavy by any stretch, but he ate a lot of fried chicken.
He ate fried chicken, and come to find out his father had heart issues, which then mine did too. So anyway, we've had some things in common. But no, Jerry was not stressed about but also he loved to get his verbal shots in, especially at Heyman, because, that's what he fired Heyman in Memphis after we'd had our scaffold match with the Road Warriors in the Midnight at Starrcade 86, and I took the bump off the scaffold. Well, then that became all the rage for, a scaffold match. And they had one in Memphis, and Paulie was managing Tommy Rich and Austin Idol, I believe it was. And Lawler asked him, "Well, you going to take the bump off the scaffold like your boy Cornette?" "Oh, sure, King, And when it came time to do it, they chased him. He climbed halfway up and got scared and jumped off the scaffolding in about 10 feet to the mat instead of going up there. And Lawler got mad at him and fired him, I think, after he broke his jaw with a potato, quote unquote. I'm the only manager to ever work Memphis for a long period of time, I think, that Lawler didn't break his jaw with a potato. And he punched me a lot. but he broke Jimmy's, and that was supposedly payback for Jimmy saying, "Well, what do you do with a horse when he breaks his leg? You shoot him." When Lawler broke his leg, and Lawler saw that in the hospital on TV and didn't know he was going to say it. But anyway, I digress. It was fun. It was fun. Is what it was.